Rocks and pebble over the liner, or just bare liner, doesn't matter. Today's a quick video where I'll talk about the pros and cons of both. G'day, my name is Kev. The aim of my channel and website is to help people build and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, please subscribe and check out my website, ozponds.com. So let's talk about bare liner first. This is a bare liner pond. It has some plinth boards around the top as an edge, so it looks a bit nicer. It does have a few largish rocks in there to anchor some of the fish hiding structures and to help hide the pipe from the pump to the filter, but otherwise it's completely bare. There are some water lilies and marginal plants in the pond, and they're planted into pots. Inside the pots is just regular dirt with gravel or pebbles over the top. This just prevents all that soil from mixing with the water. The water is being kept clean and clear with a bog filter. I do love bog filters, and if you watch my videos, you'll see how easily you can achieve great water quality on any pond, whether it's a bare liner pond like this one or a natural looking rock and pebble pond. So the first benefit of a bare liner pond is that it's much cheaper to construct. If memory serves me correctly, I spent around $300 on this pond. To put that in perspective, I've never been able to spend less than $300 just on the rock and the gravel on any of my other ponds. Well, that is apart from my little barrel ponds. So it depends on where you live. Here, rock's very expensive. If you decide to go a bare liner pond, you can make further savings by using a PVC liner or a HDPE liner. I prefer working with the EPDM liner, but it is more expensive. But because you're not stacking tons of rock and gravel on top of the liner, you can certainly go for the cheaper product. The next advantage of a bare liner pond is that it's easier to clean. Because the plants are in pots, they can easily be removed. The few large rocks can also or just be shuffled around, and then you can get straight in there with a net or a vacuum to clean up the mulm or sludge that's built up over time. The black liner also helps conceal the mulm, and if you've got bright fish like I do in this pond, it looks great with the black backdrop. The main disadvantage for me of the bare liner ponds is that you can see the liner, and it's for this reason that I tend to keep my bare liner ponds nice and small. Having that plinth board overhang the pond helps prevent being able to see those creases in the liner. And in the warmer months, the plants certainly help also. And that's the first advantage of using rock and pebbles. You can completely hide the liner and make the pond look like it's a natural body of water. Rocks and pebbles also add surface area to the pond. This gives beneficial bacteria and organisms more places to live. It's the bacteria and organisms that keep the water crystal clear and safe for the fish. Essentially, when you add rock and pebbles to the pond, you make the pond part of the filtration system. And so with that comes the first disadvantage. The small gaps in the pebbles trap debris. Now, some people don't like this because it looks unsightly, but I find it beneficial. This material will be broken down by countless organisms and bacteria. These small life forms provide food to other life forms, such as baby fish, tadpoles, dragonfly larvae. Here you can see some of the algae and sediments building up on the rocks. When I pick up a pebble, it has a layer of film over it. If you want the rocks nice and clean, you can stir up the film and it comes off pretty easily. The quickest way to clean them is to just get in there and move them around. I believe any reasonable sized pond with rock and pebble should always incorporate a skimmer. So as I agitate the water around the pebbles, all that debris is dislodged and makes its way into the skimmer. Then the majority should get trapped in the filter sponges. Or if you're like me and prefer making your own bog filters, it will become trapped in the filter where you can flush it out later. You can now see the pebbles in that area almost look like new. If you don't want to stick your hand in the pond, some people like to use a dunny or a toilet brush on a stick. Either way, the more often you agitate the pebbles, the cleaner they will look. It also works with small, fine gravel. There goes the debris into the DIY skimmer, and the gravel comes up pretty clean. Some pond keepers worry that all this build-up of material will cause diseases and infections in the fish. This pond here has always had tons of sediment and debris over the rocks. That has led to an abundance of food and lots of baby fish every year. The water itself stays crystal clear. I can see from one side to the other underwater, which is about 4 meters. But I understand that if your goal was to keep expensive fish, you might want to keep the pond much cleaner, and then a bare liner pond is going to be your best option. I'm personally very hands-off, and I also like the natural look of rock and pebbles. My ponds need to take care of themselves for the most part, so for me an ecosystem style makes the most sense. Whatever style you choose, you can achieve great water quality and happy fish. I hope this has been helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested, check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.